Welcome on Cosmic Girl 101, and this video is about the upcoming new moon in the sign of Leo occurring on the 4th of August 2024. Welcome. We are going to unpack the chart and then I'm going to give a horoscope, little insight for all the sun signs about this new moon in Leo and how I see it playing out for your sign. So let's talk about some real basics, which sometimes when we listen to any astrological events, we skim over some real details that really have the ingredients necessary for you to initiate, acknowledge, or sit with and process what all of these modalities mean in a particular sign connected to astrological events. So, new moon. So the moon is conjuncting the sun, and the sun is in its domicile sign of Leo, which is a very strong position for the sun. And then the moon creeps up on the sun and blocks it out, and it is dark. And you cannot see that sun. And boy, oh boy, a sun does not like to have its light dimmed, overshadowed, or taken away. But this new moon in the sign of Leo, the sun's domicile sign, is very interesting. Now, Leo, the sun sign Leo, is the element connected to fire. So we have a double fire energy connected to the sign of Leo and this new moon on the 4th of August. The sun is very bright, very much can burn you, create a lot of heat, and the element connected to Leo is fire, and the modality is fixed. Words connected to fixed, or how we can connect laterally with the word fixed, is it's unmovable. It's like concrete. It won't change form. It's inflexible unless you get a sledgehammer or dig it up or something breaks it apart with a lot of energy. That could be anything. To break through something fixed is very difficult. And that's the mode of Leo. And it is a masculine yang sign. And yang signs are connected to the words of action. They move. There's movement with the sign of Leo connected to it. Now, the irony of that is it's a fixed sign, but it's connected to action and movement. And fire is all about movement in fluctuations. You can have a slow burn. You can have a big blaze. You can have slow burning embers, always about to create a fire. And that's the irony of this sign of Leo, where the new moon is occurring. So we take all these nuances in connected to this new moon, and then we sit and process the sign of Leo. A very slow burn that's very unchanging. The Leo is connected to the heart, pride, leadership, can be very proud of its efforts, its constant efforts. And a Leo will not shy away in telling you all the necessary ingredients to keep a slow burn and create something fantastic, but not without some very, very hard yards in the past connected to its successes. And what's difficult for Leo is that bulldog energy of releasing its heart's desire. And it sometimes can be very difficult to change. And it will fixate that fixed modality on the constant burn, the element of fire, with that yang energy of action. So this new moon, which is the dark cycle of the lunation cycle, you won't see this. This is literally behind the curtains where Leo doesn't like to be. It likes to be in front of the curtain and being seen, or at least proud of its work that has gone on behind the curtains. but you won't see it on the 4th of August at all. But you can at least acknowledge that wherever this is falling in your own natal chart, whatever house this is for you, there is at least the potential and all the necessary ingredients to crack through concrete and break new ground and look at something new for yourself in the future that you can fixate on, that is fresh and gives you a sense of life force and something that you can sink your teeth into for a very long time. So we're breaking molds here on the 4th of August. And the molds are very, very strong and can have a big stronghold on us wherever it is in your own natal chart, the house of Leo. So I don't see this as an easy new moon, because that sun, which is in its own sign of Leo, wherever it is in your natal chart, whatever house it is, that sun is very, very strong there. And the sign of Leo is very, very strong. And it has the connection of fire, fixed, yang energy. So just sit with that. And this is very basic, but just sit with this knowledge of the sign of Leo. And you may start to process or really think about things differently and go, oh, that's why it's been so hard to change, or that's why I'm always moving towards this particular thing, or that's why this aspect of that chart has been so strong, because it's connected to the sun, which is a constant in a very strong place. You may start to pull the pieces together and understanding Leo energy and what Leo represents. So when you look at your own birth chart and what house it is, you may start to realize, oh my goodness, yes, I recognize that is a constant. That has been an absolute constant. And this new moon is breaking a mold, breaking down a very, very strong performance, a very, very strong way of always being. So I don't think it's without difficulty to begin the inevitable end connected to the Leo house in your chart. So the aspects connected to the new moon, the only thing that stands out the most to me, and really only for me only needs a mention, is Jupiter sextiling the new moon in the sign of Gemini. And Jupiter is a planet that is always trying to create order out of chaos, to begin or at least initiate something that is going to be enjoyable for the long term, has structure, has meaning. And what Jupiter in Gemini is trying to create is intelligence, and look at things intelligently from a different lens in the sign of Gemini, and know that there's many options and many roads to take. And the only distracting about Jupiter is Jupiter will provide 20 options instead of 1 or 2. So we may need to use our intelligence and understand, let's just slow the burn, if you will, and pick a lane, very Leonian, and let's just go down this track instead of being overrun with too many options. And that can happen with Jupiter and Gemini. But Jupiter definitely is assisting Gemini things with options, intelligence, and how to create new order connected to wherever Leo is and the house in your own natal chart. So that's all I really see from my astrological point of view, that's assisting this new moon to break new ground, literally break the fixed ground, that fixed fire of bulldog energy, and create and move into a different direction than it has always been connected to Leo. So not an easy lunation at all. I do not think Okay, so let's get in it for the sun signs. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you do like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. I do appreciate it. I'm sure you hear that a lot because if you're on YouTube, there's no doubt you've heard this. But I do appreciate it. The channel's slowly growing, and it's all thanks to astrology enthusiasts such as yourselves. And please leave a comment in the comment below. Let's create dialogue, and let's extend to other people. And that's going to take some bravery, very Leo energy, to put yourself out there and comment about something. Because if we don't, or we feel like we need to hold back our personal lived realities and experiences, you know, we could be holding back information that helps navigate people through cycles, or at least, give us the deets on how things really are in the real world for you, connected to any astrological aspects. I welcome it. Okay, so for Aries, this new moon is happening in your fifth house. So your fifth house, Aries, is about the house of joy and pleasure. So when you have this new moon in Leo, sextiling Jupiter, there's an intelligence here of knowing there's other ways of creating joy and pleasure in your life. Aries will be a natural pleasure seeker, will always be taking action, but in the sign of Leo, may be fixated on a particular sense of joy and pleasure, and will need to open up a little bit more in the heart chakra and use the intelligent mind with the assistance of Jupiter and Gemini sextiling the lunation to create a new way of having fun and joy. So this I don't particularly think is a troublesome new moon. What I think may be troublesome for Aries is releasing habits connected to the house of joy and pleasure. You could be habitually connected to your sense of joy and pleasure that you've established for a very long time that now is really stale, and you want to be able to bring something fresh and exciting for yourself. And that could take some bravery. And I think maybe some Aries will struggle with acknowledging that this sense of joy and pleasure really is old and stale and they need something new. So Jupiter and Gemini, I think, will really help expand your cerebral horizons, or at least open up conversations and dialogue with other people and talking about what's been so hard to change, connected to your sense of joy and pleasure. So an interesting new moon for you, Aries. So Taurus, for you, you've got this new moon in your fourth house. Now your fourth house for you, Taurus, this is like an angular house position. So super important when any astrological event is occurring in an angle in your chart. So for Taurus in your fourth house, this is the house that is unseen by the public. So from your 12th to your 7th house, Taurus, it's a very public place. People can see a lot. So where you're a mover and shaker, you do a lot of connecting in the public in your from your 12th to your 7th house. But when you're talking about the subterranean houses from the 1st to the 6th house, it's more things that people really aren't privy to know about. And for you, Taurus, 4th house is all connected to your family and your foundations, your sense of security, what supports you, and also to do with anything to do with ancestry, Taurus. What has been passed down through the DNA, for example. So when you have this new moon connected to the fourth house topics of family and your roots and your foundations, ancestry, and also can have to do with property and real estate concerns. Taurus, I wonder if there's something that is really bothering you about something that has always just been part of your experience that is so old, and it can be very private, this lunation for you, Taurus, in as much as you may not want to talk about or at least reveal really quite strong ingrained behaviors connected to the family and the fourth house. So I find this new moon for you, Taurus, quite challenging, uh, but not without a hope. It's not all bad, and acknowledging something that's very, very private and very vulnerable for you, to acknowledge something to do with the fourth house topics of ancestry, family, that really has been a part of your position for some time, that really can no longer exist, and you need to break new ground, or at least acknowledge that you're not part of that system or how a family or ancestry has been. So particularly difficult lunation, I feel, for Taurus. Gemini, this new moon is occurring in your third house, and your third house, Gemini, is where Jupiter is. So you've had Jupiter transiting in your sign as well. I wonder how that's been going. Feel free to put in the comment section. But Gemini, I wonder for you if there's a sense of putting on a show for your local environment, or who you connect with on a day-to-day basis, things that are habitually connected to you that really feel exhausting now when you're trying to break new ground, or at least be seen in a different light, connected to siblings, cousins, education, teaching, and again your places of your daily routine or grind, or where you frequent every day. I wonder if there's something that needs to change there for you. Um, and it's something that may be difficult for you to change, because that third house is almost very familiar to you, and it may be very difficult to communicate, or at least acknowledge that you need new visions, or you need a new environment, and this is the beginning of the end for you, in creating a fresh start with different faces in different places for you, Gemini, on the 4th of August. Cancer, this new moon for you is occurring in your second house, and the second house is a financial house. And for you, Cancer, I wonder if there is a habit or something that has been very anchoring, very locked jaw, connected to investments and your sense of values, and even possessions. Something to I would liken this for you, Cancer, to clean out your closets, have a garage sale, um, look at your finances with a fine tooth comb, and break old habits of being leaned on so much or relied upon when it comes to assisting with others financially, or you just feeling that you may need to open up your investment opportunity portfolio, consider new ways of establishing resources for yourself, and break out of any rut or routine that's been really anchoring and taken a lot of energy, a lot of zapping of your energy and financial energy as well. So, Cancer, you have new ground that you are about to step into, that's going to take a lot of grit and determination to present a new sense of value to yourself and what you find valuable, in regards to keep on keeping on, sustaining a very fruitful and very optimistic financial life for yourself. So, an interesting new moon for you, Cancer, but not without a lot of possible heartache connected to letting go of possessions or investments at the same time. Leo, this new moon's occurring in your first house as a Leo. So when you're talking about your first house, Leo, you're talking about your physical body, your psychology, your character, how people see you, and what's habitual to you, what your heart's desire is, may become so obvious at this time that it's been foolhardy or foolhardy to keep a bulldog perception about who you are or what you love. And this will be difficult, I think, for you, Leo, to almost jackhammer concrete from your feet and your heart. That's how I see, it's almost like poetry here, but it's how I feel. It's like you need to break some shackles that you created for yourself. And this is not pointing fingers, Leo. This is acknowledging that, some things have been very anchoring and built up over very long periods of time that you've loved. And sometimes it's very difficult to let go. And I think this is where you can at least see the forest with the trees and acknowledge that, and especially with Jupiter sextiling the new moon for you, Leo, that you can open up your horizons. There are different paths in creating happiness for yourself. So, Leo, begin the inevitable end on this day for something healthier for you. You deserve bliss like everyone else, absolutely. So, Virgo, for you, this is happening in your 12th house, and your 12th house, this house is a lot going on with hospitals, psychiatric wards, mental institutions, retreats, surgeries, anything to do with things that aren't publicly seen. The house that's to do with hidden enemies, and they could be of your own doing or foe that you know. And the 12th house is a very spiritual house as well, because the 12th house is where we drop into things that we believe in. And that can be a religious practice, going to a religious temple or on a pilgrimage, or even as small as looking into Ganesh, for example, the statue. The 12th house is the house where things are not public. It's places we go to rejuvenate, recover, and get a sense of the self again so we feel stronger in our body and our psyche. So, Virgo, I wonder if you've been procrastinating, if you will, on something that has been chronically connected to you now that's very detrimental, and you may need to crack some bones or cut some ties or relocate or take on a challenging aspect connected to your psyche or physical ailment, to create new ground for yourself or a new path forward. The 12th house is very interesting. I like the 12th house. But for Virgo, I just wonder if it's been difficult for you to keep up this show or this lock hold on you, that fixed fire energy of Leo that's now becoming to your detriment. So wonder if pride is something, or just looking at your character in a very different lens on the 4th of August, that can take you into new places and connect with different experiences. So if there's anything that you need to acknowledge or, begin the inevitable end, this is the new moon to do it. Because Leo will provide that sense of bravery and the knowledge that there can be a new normal connected to the 12th house topics for you, Virgo. If you can only just cease and desist and move on and let go, do what you need to do so you can open up and connect to a new way of being for yourself. Very, very, very deep and profound place, Virgo, the 12th house. Libra, this new moon for you is happening in your 11th house. Now, your 11th house, this house is actually through Hellenistic teachings, through astrology. This is Jupiter's house of joy, and it's in Gemini, trining your sign, Libra. Sorry, the 11th house for you, Libra. So, Libra, this potentially is a time of acknowledging, allies and ambassadors that have always been a true and constant. Well, I wonder if they're leaving a bad taste in your mouth now, or you're feeling anchored by people that support you. And that sounds very contradicting, but sometimes the people that are always there, they're new and the same old faces, they can be old and weathered, and you can just need to connect with different groups of people, or even friendships could be basically annoying the shit out of you. So you may be just ready, Libra, to create new places and faces for yourself, because the 11th house, even though this is where you do find support, and it is a house that you connect to with joy and pleasure, with friends and people that you like to play tennis with, for example. We enjoy this. We proactively connect with these groups and organisations. But over long periods of time, they can become unchanging. You may be just aware, wow, I've really developed some really, really strong habits here with friends and groups and allies, and I just feel I need something new and fresh. And this new moon can be the beginning of the end, to get you out of a rut in regards to keeping your social circle small. It's maybe time to, expand. And that's okay. I think that's great. You don't literally have to throw the baby out with the bathwater and totally disconnect from everyone and all your support systems. But it may be obvious that some things are very stale or got a hold on you. And you may need to jackhammer some things off. Scorpio, for you, this new moon is happening in your 10th house, and your 10th house is a house that has a lot to do with people that are in authority or have authority over you. And that doesn't sound very nice, but some people do, like a banker does, or your tax agent, for example. People that tell you what to do, which I'm sure you don't appreciate or like, unless you respect them. But this could be someone who has a sense of authority about them that will be highlighted on this day, of what is really not so strong or authoritarian at all. And this house is also a house that is connected to your profession, your professional life. So I wonder, Scorpio, for you, if this new moon is ringing alarm bells, if you will, about just how much effort and how much energy you've put into an authority figure or your appearance in a profession. And there may be something here that needs to change. And what this new moon connected to that Jupiter and Gemini may be presenting to you is giving you some bravery in speaking your mind, or having more of a leadership role than you give yourself some sort of credit for, or have even thought about. So I think holding back on this day may be difficult for you, Scorpio, because I think you're good at playing it cool or having a particular role. And you just may see someone in authority or something in your profession that it almost seems that you can take up the torch and lead from here on. Thanks very much, is what I'm getting for Scorpios on the 4th of August for you. Sagittarius, this new moon is happening for you in your 9th house, and your 9th house, Sagittarius, is there's a lot going on in all of the houses in the natal chart. absolutely. But there's a lot going on in the ninth house, and that's Jupiter's house. Get it? Jupiter big, a lot. Yeah. Ninth house is international travel, foreign connections, culture, uh, uh, higher institutions like universities, pilgrimages is where we travel, media and publishing, anything to do with the aspects of law, spiritual beliefs, your philosophies about life. You do a lot of navel gazing in the ninth house. If you have planets there, feel free to put in the comment section how those planets in the ninth house, if you have any, have been played out for you with navel gazing, contemplating philosophy and spirituality. So the ninth house for you, this new moon happening, Sagittarius, is possibly stepping into new shoes and opening up your horizons, because this house is connected to expanding the mind, expanding with travel, expanding with the body, just a lot of opening up energy. So when you have this new moon in your in the ninth house, Sagittarius, I wonder for you if you're ready to uh, get out of a perceived or old mode of belief or standing behind a crowd. It's time for you to look at new ways of connecting to your spiritual life, opening up with media and publishing, booking a holiday and going for it, or changing things up in regards to your schooling. This new moon can see you creating the beginning of the end of something that has been deeply ingrained with you with those ninth house topics, because it is the sign of Leo. And what you may have always been proud of needs to change and be transformed into a new way of being proud and being bold and very public. So an interesting new moon for you, Sagittarius. Capricorn, this new moon for you is happening in your eighth house, and this is a financial house. And this is the house where other people's finances support you. So in Leo, we're talking about a constant, slow burn, something that's always been connected to a support system with resources and your finances, whether they're yours or connected with others. So for you, Capricorn, this may be time to boldly declare autonomy and independence with your finances and resources, and start something fresh that feels optimistic regarding building financial wealth for yourself, or at least eliminating debt, or acknowledging that something's been going on too long in the tooth in regards to draining resources for you. So Capricorn, this is going to take almost a sense of moving mountains here in changing how you deal with your investments and finances. Aquarius, this new moon for you is happening in your seventh house of relationships and partnerships. There's a lot more to the seventh house, really. That's skimming the surface. The seventh house has a lot to do with pleasure, marriage. It's the house of endings. It's the house of contracts and agreements. So Aquarius, when you have a new moon here on your seventh, it naturally opposes you. So you may be possibly experiencing a difficult behavior connected to a relationship or a contract that has always been, and it might be time to go in a new direction. So if you are in a contract or a partnership, for example, be it professional or intimate, it just feels that this something's been put on a show for a little too long and you need to change things up and be a little bit more authentic. But that's going to be hard to break a character role connected to a contract or a relationship for you as an Aquarius on the 4th of August. And finally, Pisces, this new moon's happening in your 6th house. And Pisces, the 6th house is the house that is to do with sickness and illness. The house that's connected to your health routine, your hygiene. The house that's connected to pets as well. And also services that connect you with other people, and also to do with co-workers and working. So it's a busy house, obviously, like all houses are. But Pisces, for you, I wonder if there's an old ailment or a physical health issue or anything that's been part of your daily grind, if you will, that is having its moment in the spotlight of acknowledging how it feels like it's going to take the strength of Hades to overcome a really deeply ingrained ailment or habit or something to do with your health or wellness, or again, services to other people or services in general. So this particular new moon for you, Pisces, it's almost like the show can't go on, and or how you show up in overcompensation and helping others. You may be too liberal with your efforts and your energy directed towards others, and you may need to fill your own cup back up. So this could be difficult, I will say, Pisces, for you this new moon, because what's happening in Leo is breaking new ground and releasing that heart's desire, what you thought you were doing from the goodness of your heart. Almost like the curtain comes up and you see things for how they are. So it could be, a difficult new moon for you, Pisces, but it's nothing you can't handle. But at least there's the potential, if you will, to acknowledge something that's been chronic or something that is draining your sense of how you can help others because of overcompensation or you skimming over surfaces of what's been going on for you on the daily grind. So that is the horoscopes for all the sun signs for the new moon in Leo. If you've stuck around to the end, wow, you really are into astrology. Thank you. And again, please like, share and subscribe to the content. And please don't feel shy, new moon in Leo, to express any comments in the comments section below. It's an interesting new moon, absolutely. But whatever you are trying to, release and cut the cords and release the shackles of something that was so dear to you that you thought or have been experiencing as a constant, there's new ground about to open up and you can proactively participate in it. Absolutely you can. And this is what it's all about, is it not? Changing and transforming our lives into something lighter and brighter. And this new moon in Leo could just be the tonic we all need. I'm Cosmic Girl 101 signing off. Thank you for tuning in. I trust you have a fabulous Nation. I'll catch you next video.